Michael Faraday was born on September 22nd, 1791, in southern London. His father was a blacksmith, and his family was relatively poor. Because of this, Faraday only received a very basic education. When he was 14, he became the apprentice of a bookbinder. Surprisingly, that's where he got his first science lessons. Faraday read all of the books he bound and learned from them. In 1812, Faraday attended 4 lectures at the London Royal Institution. The speaker was the chemist Humphrey Davy. Faraday was so inspired by Davy's lectures that he wrote him immediately afterwards asking for a job as his assistant. Davy appointed Faraday as a chemical assistant at the Royal Institution the very next year, and in 1814 Davy took Faraday on a tour of Europe, where he met many of the most important scientists of the time. Upon returning to the Royal Institution, Faraday began the research that he would be remembered for. In 1821, Faraday presented his theory of electromagnetic rotation. He was able to demonstrate using 2 machines that he had built that electrical energy could be converted into motion. Why is this important? Electricity causing motion is the principle behind a motor. Faraday even built the very first motor. Without him, there would be no motors today, and so we wouldn't have anything that runs on its own, from cars to electric toothbrushes. Ten years later, in 1831, Faraday discovered electromagnetic induction. Electromagnetic induction means that all electric currents form magnetic fields, and all magnetic fields likewise cause electrons to move, forming electric currents. Before this, electricity was more a curiosity than a useful tool. Now, people understood electricity more and could exert more control over it. Electromagnetic induction is the principle behind transformers and generators. Transformers allow electricity to be safely transported from plants to homes by converting the current back and forth and changing the voltage. Generators in the plants generate electricity by using a magnetic field to create an electric current. Like motors, without Faraday's discovery, we probably wouldn't have anything electronic in our homes, at least not anything safe. But that's not all Faraday did. He coined many terms, including electrode, cathode, and ion. His name is even a unit of measurement, the farad, which used to be a unit of electric charge, but now is a unit of electrical capacitance. In 1826, Faraday founded the Royal Institution's Friday evening discourses and Christmas lectures, events that are still held today. Faraday wrote many books, including Experimental Researches in Electricity and Chemical History of the Candle. He was a professor of chemistry at the Royal Military Academy in Woolwich from 1830 to 1851, and a scientific advisor to Trinity House from 1836 to 1865. Faraday also came up with the idea that there were lines of force which could be seen by putting iron filings on a magnet, and he was an advocate of the law of conservation of energy, believing that any power was always converted into another. Aside from all that, Faraday gained much renown as an exceptional speaker. In the 1840s, Faraday's health began to decline. He was granted a pension by the government and a house in Hampton Court. In 1853, Faraday refused to help develop poison gases for use in the Crimean War, being unwilling to use his scientific knowledge for military action. On August 25, 1867, Michael Faraday died.